Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the comment video for the 20th of January, 2025. And up front is the weather, and it is a chilly 38 degrees outside. And it's not all good news, my friends. I'm sorry. As I've been saying, today is a terrible windy day. There's up to 60 plus mile an hour gusts. Winds will start around noontime at 20 miles per hour, sustained going up to 27 miles per hour sustained. And keep in mind, those are just estimates, and you can count on about 2 times sustained gusts. So, that's a minimum on the 27 of 54, and we could get 60 or 70. So batten down the hatches, okay? Just be really careful. And I'd been saying too, hey, that's it for the next 10 days. We're not going to have any more windy days. Unfortunately, that's no longer true. We have a fairly windy day coming on Saturday as well. I'm sad to tell you. I'm sorry about that. And to boot, there's a freeze warning tonight. It's probably going to get down to 32 degrees. So be careful out there. If you're staying in the desert, make sure you have what you need to stay warm. It's right. It's showing a 33 of low, but that's low enough to do a freeze warning. You should be okay at 32. You know, if you got a RV, probably if it's 32 for a couple hours, you're probably not going to have a problem with anything freezing up. But of course, the freezing point of water is 32, right? So if it gets to be 32 where your pipes are, they could freeze. It'll take a little while. My personal experience in that temperature range, I've always been okay. Where the pipes are generally is a little bit warmer than the ambient temperature outside, but just you're be warned. Now we're talking about temperatures that range between the highs in the next 10 days. Our range for a low is 59 degrees on Tuesday is the high. Then we were up to 68 the next day. We're high 60s, low 70s next 10 days. Mostly sunny days. There's like 2 or 3 days where it's partly cloudy. So it's not all bad news, but it's not super happy weather news. So that is it for the weather. And I'm going to jump right into doing the comments today. And the first one is from Nancy Kane, who was listening to the comments video. She said, I really enjoyed listening to you talk at the RTR. That's the Rubber Tramp Rendezvous, where I gave a talk on emotional health. You came across as very intelligent, kind-hearted, and real. Well, that's quite the compliment, Nancy. Thank you. Jen B says, so essentially that following drone is like a personal trainer. That's my flying selfie stick that follows me, and that'll keep you in shape for sure. That's the desert filled up. And by the way, if you saw that got a lot of views, and if you saw the early version of that before I went in, and the editing was terrible. I'm in not the part walking in the desert, but the part driving into town. I constantly had my hand on my face while I'm talking. It just looked terrible. So I went into the YouTube studio and edited that terrible stuff out. But I apologize if you saw me just talking with my hand all over my face. It was not a good look for me, and it wasn't a nice thing for anybody to be looking at. Dame the First says, with so many vehicles and lights and people looking for addresses, I'm pretty sure I would never have the nerve to walk anywhere. Let's see. Heading home. Great story. We all had that moment. For me, it was finding my phone deep into a forest. I had hiked the prior day. Pure luck to find where it had fallen. And that was the positive news story, Small Victories, about a woman whose car keys got swept out to sea, and it came back, and she found it. And it was an electronic key, and it still worked. Amazing. RV Life. I hope those stickers were for me. They probably were. I've only gotten one envelope, and I was in such a hurry. I didn't really pay attention. I just quick stuffed them in there, handed it back. Please put these in the mail right away. So RV Life, you should have them by now. Julie Anderson Jules, I spotted Tom and Lori's RV Life crossing the street while you were stopped at Kuhn Street. Thanks for sharing glimpses of your daily RV life. You, Dottie, and George are awesome. Well, thank you, Julie. James Donovan said, thank God, I thought I was the only one who forgets to lock car and did. You know, that was the day one big tent video, and I was filming. I'm walking towards the main entrance, and I go, did I lock my car? And I left it in. I turned around, and you know how you hold the clicker up in the air, clicking the lock, so when you get close enough, you'll hear the sound of your car locking. That's what I do it all the time. James, we're brothers from another mother. Don Hill, easy on the nose pick, scratching. Yeah, Don. That's what I was talking about. And Don, you'll be good to know I got rid of all that terrible talking and putting and scratching my nose, and it just looked terrible. Easy on the nose pick, scratching. So if you watch it again, Don, it's all gone. I got in there and I got rid of it. I was mortified would be a strong word, but when I watched the video, I'm like, Rob, how could you put that out there? Good morning, Mr. Rob, Dottie, and George. And Don, by the way, that's a kind way. That's a little bit of criticism, but that's a kind criticism, Don. That's and it's welcomed. Thank you. Dee Dee Cornell. Good morning, Mr. Rob, Dottie, and George. Good morning to you. And Jeremy, reinforcing he is legit. I said, somebody sent me a email in the comments that they were going to report me as medical malpractice because I didn't have a degree or a license, and of course I have a degree, and I have licenses in 4 states. Jeremy says, reinforcing he is legit and great at his job. As a client, I am better because of his support. You rock, Robert. Thank you, Jeremy. Wordless. The largest dairy companies in Saudi Arabia bought vast tracts of desert in western Arizona on top of a massive groundwater aquifer. There are no regulations on how much water can be pumped out of the ground. Anyone who buys or leases land can be put in a well and draw water. They've completely abused the leases. Arizona AG and governor are attempting to shut them down. Now, I was surprised by this, and I did do a little search on it, and there's a lot of truth to what he's saying. I think I think it said they're growing alfalfa to send back to Saudi Arabia to feed their animals. I don't know what the deal is on this. This person could be absolutely right. I was a little, hey, is this an exaggeration? Is this real? It seems like it's probably real. Peggy Connolly, slow down, you made me dizzy. Enjoyed seeing the tennis this home this year with hubby having surgery. Yeah, I moved through there pretty fast, didn't I? I was excited. Wiki up rat. Rob, I hope you're able to function both mentally and physically after going to the Big Ten show every day until closing. That would kill a lot of people, even myself. I'm going to go again today, day 3. I'm going to go before the winds hit, so I'm going to go late this morning. And if you watch Matt's RV reviews, and the kind of excited guy that does RV tours, he's going to be there, and I'm going to try to get him on film. I really love that guy. I drove down there on my ATV, which is pretty easy through the washes. I saw plenty of vehicles who ventured in the washes in their cars and got stuck. They must have spent hours in a traffic jam. Yikes, do you have a preferred way to get in and park? Let me tell you something. I'm sitting here going, keep your hands off your face. But it's my beard that itches so much. And I'm just, the beard's new for me. And people love it, so I'm going to keep it. But right now it's at kind of an itchy phase. And it's hard to keep my hands off it and kind of scratching. And I know it looks terrible. I'll try to not get anywhere near my nose scratching my beard. But it does get very distracting. So You know what? Your question, do I have a preferred way? I seem to get lucky on parking spaces. I took Pup Camper 58 Cheryl in. We went yesterday to spend some time with Deborah Dickinson, and then we did the day tour. She did the day 2 tour through the big tent with me, and we found someone pulling out right on Kuhn Street. Perfect spot. So sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Now, I did drive around. I tried to go to the big parking lot, and there was nothing in the big parking lot. And I was starting to go, oh, I've never had it happen where I've gone all the way back to the interstate in the big parking lot off Kuhn Street and not found anything. And I was beginning to get a little nervous. And then I pulled up on Kuhn Street. Someone was pulling out. Actually, I saw them about to get in, and I pulled over and I said, Cheryl, ask them if they're leaving. And she does, and the lady goes, yeah, if we can back out of here. And I pulled over to the side and parked next to them with my blinker on. I said, I'll get out in direct traffic. And I get out there and stop traffic so they could back out. And they went, and I pulled in. It was great. Let's see. Your feet have to make up what your head forgets. Welcome to old age. That's Sue Weiss. Thanks, Sue. Chuck Brewington, I've watched several Big Tent tours for this season and really enjoyed this one. Your interaction with vendors and subscribers is so relaxed and natural. Thank you. Nancy Menderos, catching up on your content from last week. Weather in Colorado has been quite cold. Watching it all now on my day off in my recliner with the heat on. Gypsy Minstrels. I got a kick out of you swearing and worrying about social faux pas on camera. Well, actually, you'll notice you didn't hear me swearing because when I said the bad word, you don't hear anything because I muted it. I did mute that. That's why, as a rule, I'm not on camera in my videos. I usually don't edit. So with my age and upbringing, I just remind myself I'm mixed company. You probably thought I said it because you probably saw my lips, but you didn't hear it. I guarantee it. I don't post anything taken while driving a track as my language becomes rather colorful. Keep up the good work. That's Gypsy Minstrels. Thank you. Joy is love seeing the inside the tent and all the different vendors. Tommy is great video, Rob, as always. Don't feel bad. I do the same thing about locking my car. Hope you're having a great winter. It's been deep freeze here. At least the ponds are getting safe. The ice is over 7 inches thick now with another Arctic blast coming. Can't wait to get out there. I'm looking for a large SUV that will be able to tow a camper about your size. Yeah, you need to get an SUV. If you do an SUV, you got to be careful and get one that's powerful enough to tow what you're towing. Lucky young ladies. That is the Small Victories positive news story. That's from Ken Gray. Ken. Lunds at large. Wow, it sure did. Hardly anyone back in November when we arrived. Every space everywhere is being boondocked. Yeah, the desert filled up for sure. Patrick Ross says, heard from my brother who has a crafts tent that yearly attendance is declining, with this year being a particular steep drop. Curious as to what reasons you're hearing for the decline in economy, or is the novelty worn off for many RVers? I don't know what to tell you, Patrick. I don't think anyone has any way to gauge what your brother's gauging. You're commenting on a video where I showed how packed it was out here in La Posa South, but even that is not a definitive measure. So you're presupposing that your brother who has one crafts tent is correct in his assessment, and I'm not sure I'm ready to say that. Every indication that I've seen, it's as busy or busier than I've seen it. Now, I do note if he's in the Tyson Wells Celerama area, that was I have a friend that I've been there every day with my friend Deborah Dickinson. For them, Friday was really super busy, but Saturday and Sunday were pretty slow, even though the big tent was busy. So people were gravitating to the big tent and not as many people walking around those areas. So that could have been it. I'm not sure. Time will tell on this. Ken Gray says, seems less crowded for the first day this year. Maybe you came at a better time than last year. Seemed pretty much the same to me, but if you're comparing videos, you may be you may be, if you're comparing my day one last year to this year, and it seemed, I don't doubt you, Ken. I haven't done that. So Ken also says, you may have noticed that I actually got excited to be able to look things up so I can learn something new. It irritates some people, though. I think he's referring to, I had a quote, and I challenged people for the source of the quote, and Ken jumped in and said, this is it. And extremely rare case, Ken was mistaken, and I pointed it out. And, you know, he cheerfully went back and found out I was right. It was a quote from the old movie, Treasure of the Sierra Madre, with John Wayne and Humphrey Bogart. And I said to him on here, I wrote, I never doubted you would appreciate the correction, and I would have too. I love finding out new things, but Ken and I share that passion. Alan Hill, name like Old and Dottie Travels, you could have 50,000 subscribers by now. Okay. Alan, if you think it would be better in my title to say I'm old, maybe you're right, but I think I'm going to stick with Travels with Dottie. James Connell, I wish my e-bike only cost $1,500. It was fun this past week at the RTR. I guess next year many people from the LTVs will be in the 2-week campgrounds. I knew there would be a lot of people here by the time the Big Ten opened, but a lot of people was an understatement. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Robert, it was great to meet you two. This is SSN 712. Thanks for the family shout out. Terry, Vicky, Mike, Brian, and Marie. Yeah, I was with Deborah at her booth at the Cellorama, and these folks recognized me, wanted to take a selfie, then wanted to do a video with me shouting out to their family members, which I did. That was wonderful. Grey Wolf Travels. Sorry, missed you. You were there too, huh? Michael Dimmock. I have to chuckle at how much I enjoy your channel, including the Big Tent video. I live on a Wyoming ranch with 28 horses, 6 cows, 7 goats, chickens, and geese. We grow our own hay, so our summers are busy irrigating, swathing, baling, and stacking. I don't think I'll ever have the opportunity to live the RV life, but it's fun to watch your adventures and see what it's all about. P.S. Send my love to Dottie. I, too, love caring for all my animals. What a great thing, Michael. A beautiful ranch in Wyoming. Oh, wow. Just picturing that. That seems pretty exciting to me. Denny Evans. Hi, Rob, Dottie. Really liked your interactions with everyone at the Big Tent. Lots of folks recognized you. Also very informative. Thanks, Rob. And here is a pinned comment from me on the Desert Filled Up. I did a all caps horrible job editing, and I have corrected things. My sincere apologies. That's from me. Fort King says, I love the Big Ten. I really messed my vacation up this year. Missed it by 1 week too late. Oh, there's always next year. And that's right. There's always another Big Ten coming next year. Judy Vowell, I know I can't do that. I got anxiety just watching. This is my buddy Judy that camps with me. Too many people for me and nothing I really need now. Thank you for saving me the effort. Yeah, that's not, going to the Big Ten's not everyone's cup of tea. Robin Goff says, enjoy the video very much. Pamela Noel said, just checking, I'm 1,542 miles away. That would be quite the commute to come to the Big Tent, wouldn't it? Pamela Johnson, loving your Big Tent stuff. You do great videos. Be safe out there. Hugs to Dottie and George. Thank you, Pamela. And then, okay. I saved this comment. And I want to read it. It's a disappointing comment, but here's the reason I want to read it. I think that this person thinks that this is okay to say. And I don't think it's okay to say. But she clearly does. I don't think this person means any harm or disrespect for anyone. But let's read it and talk about it for a minute, okay? I am surprised to see so many non-working people who just go around living in their cars and vans. I have heard that Quartzsite is called Hobo Haven, In looking at some of the vids, I can see where it gets its name. Do these people respect the BLM land? Do they clean it up? I know lots of expensive rigs are out there, but the car and van living, ? Yikes. They all seem to congregate together. Hopefully, I was wondering if they are cleaning up the land that is free to live on. One guy was even using it to rebuild a school bus on. Egads, please let me know. I live in Arizona and was just asking. Sandy, let me just start by, you're not really asking, you're telling. You don't have any legitimate questions out here at all. Are they cleaning up? That's ridiculous. Let me tell you a couple of things. One is to look at my video and look at people camping in their cars and make the assumption they're not working and they're somehow distasteful human beings in your view. That's horrible for you to express and think. I have good friends out here that car camp, and they love car camping. It's a way to have tremendous freedom while they're paying. And many of them work. Some are retired, right? There are some people out here that are living in a car because they can't afford to live anywhere else. But they embrace this lifestyle and they thrive, and they're wonderful people. Now, not to say there aren't people that abuse the land out here, but when you see me driving around and you're seeing close up people parked in the desert, this is a long-term visitor area, and every single one of those people have a permit that they paid for. It costs $40 to stay out here for 2 weeks and $180 to stay out here for the season. And I have a hard time seeing any garbage or mess out here at all. On top of that, the Bob Wells has an organization called Homes on Wheels Alliance, and you may have heard me talking about the RTR, the Rubber Champ Rendezvous, that is fueled and started by Bob's nonprofit that he started, Homes on Wheels Alliance, and it's to support people that live in their cars, essentially. It supports nomads in general, but the original intent was to support people really that kind of are forced into this lifestyle, and it helps them get into it and thrive and be joyful and happy. And Howa does desert cleanups, not just here, but I've participated in desert cleanups here and desert cleanups in Nevada with Howa, where these folks that you're talking about that live in their cars go out and do mass cleanings of public lands for no compensation at all. So think about that. In many cases, the very people that you're criticizing are the people that are going out there on their own time and energy and picking up the areas that have been trashed by probably not people living in their cars. The one we did, I think last year with Howa, was there was just this huge abandoned trailer with trash and debris all over the place, and it took half a day to clean that up and get it out of there. And we actually went to the dump and they turned us away. It said, it's too much, we can't take it. So we had to together figure out what are we going to do with all this trash. And the town of Quartzsite helped us out. So I just really was struck by the judgment, the negative view and the judgment in this comment. One guy was even using it to rebuild a school bus. Are you talking about Nomadic Fanatic over here redoing his school bus? What is wrong with that? He's not trashing the place. He's following every rule that there is. I mean, people do van rebuilds and stuff. You're not supposed to do mechanical work with oil and stuff in the ground, and he doesn't do anything like that. The rules around it and even using it to rebuild a school bus on egads. What is? I'm just really curious about what experiences did you have in your life to have these such negative feelings about what you're seeing through my camera lens. I'm a little beside myself with this. But if you have these views, if you go, I don't see anything wrong with that, I encourage you to really do some self-reflection on, my favorite quote is from Walt Whitman: be curious, not judgmental, right? Curious people ask questions. And her only question was, are they cleaning up the land that's free to live on? That was her only question in this whole thing. And what kind of question is that? I would ask you, are you coming up and cleaning up the land? Are you out? You live in Arizona. Do you go out and clean up public land? If you do, rock on. That's great. But if that's your only question, you're not curious. You're judgmental. And I guess I'm a little bit more upset about this. I'm not upset. I don't feel personally attacked or anything like that. I mean, it wasn't a criticism of me. It was a criticism of my friends. It's a criticism of my community. And in a way, it's a criticism of the way of life that I embrace so much in a place that I love, that you're calling Hobo Haven. Quartzsite is a place that I love. In what I love about Quartzsite isn't the buildings and the streets, it's the people. It's the people that live here full time, those 2,500 people, and all my friends and people that I run into that come and visit every single year like I do. So I'm sitting here thinking, did I go too far? I don't know. This is what I really think, though. You want authenticity, you got it today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.